Hey there my fellow Indians, welcome to NewsHamster. The Hindi film industry, or what we call affectionately as Bollywood, has produced some of the finest films in the form of films like Sholay, Zanjeer, Amar Akbar Anthony, and in the recent times films like Talwar, Razi and even Bhag Milkha Bhag. But in Bollywood, there emerged a trend in the early 90s which has now become a full-fledged revenue model for filmmaking. Yes, I am talking about remakes. On an average, we can possibly see 5 to 6 remakes every year, and these films will be remade from languages like Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, even English, and of course, previous Hindi films are again being remade in the Bollywood in present times. Here are some popular remakes we have seen in the recent past, which have done well both creatively as well as economically. What am I getting to? The point is simple. Bollywood has announced a slew of remakes that it's going to make in the upcoming year, it's going to produce in the upcoming year, but I feel that we shouldn't be very much excited about it. I'll tell you the reason why as well. Predominantly, we give the credit of starting this remake trend to Salman Khan with films like Tere Naam, which was a remake of the Tamil film Setu, and of course the film Wanted, with which he revived his career, which was a remake of the Telugu film Pokiri. But little did we know that the remake trend started in Bollywood in the early 90s, where popular Bollywood films, which are usually called as classic Bollywood films, were all remade. For example, Bazigar, Main Khiladi Tu Anadi, Phool Aur Kaate, Badshah, Aankhein, so on and so forth. But this trend of remakes in the early 90s dropped only when Shah Rukh Khan started to rule the roost with romance films. Until Salman Khan came back with Wanted, which was the remake of Pokiri. What producers saw here was that this was a successful formula and this could be easily emulated, because the Indian audience did not really give a damn about where the story came from, but they just wanted to have great gala time in the theatres. Thus followed again an array of remakes like Singham, Rowdy Rathod, the Salman Khan remakes like The Ready, Kick, so on and so forth. This was at least manageable until Bollywood started to feed us only and only remakes to save itself from financial crisis. From Drishyam to Bang Bang to Billu Barber to Bhool Bhulaiya and even OK Janu, Bollywood started to feed us with only remakes. Here are some remakes that Bollywood has announced for the upcoming year. It was tough for Shahid Kapoor to take creative decisions like Batti Gul Meetup Chalu and of course be relevant to the masses. Now he's all set to star in the upcoming remake of the Telugu film Jersey, which is a sports drama and talks about a cricketer who decides to return to cricket in his late 30s, driven by his passion to represent the Indian cricket team and also fulfill his son's wish for a jersey as a gift. A Kannada film that created much buzz in the year 2016 for its depiction of horror and suspense in the backdrop of a social problem in the city is U-Turn. Bollywood has announced that this movie is going to be remade in Hindi with Alaya F as lead. I am not sure how well they're going to pull this off, though I'm not doubting the abilities of Alaya F, but the concept and the relevance might change. One announcement that baffled me was the remake or the announcement of remake of Solaroy Patri in Hindi. The film reached the Oscars and has some exemplary performance like that of Surya among others. I am doubtful not just because of the performance but also because of the socio-economic conditions and the political setup the film represents. I feel it will be very difficult for Bollywood to recreate this whole thing, and I feel this is a masterpiece that should have left untouched. Bollywood has announced the remake of one of my favorite films, Vikram Vedha, which starred actors like Madhavan and Vijay Sethupathi. The film is based on the folklore of Vikram Vedha and set in the genre of crime and thriller. The makers have roped in Hrithik Roshan and Saif Ali Khan for this film, and this is where the commercial angle becomes more and more saucy. An audience like you and me get pulled towards the theatres. I don't understand why Shankar had to remake the film Onion all over again with Ranveer Singh in the lead. Ranveer Singh is definitely an incredible performer, but the film has been dubbed in Hindi by the name Aparichit and has been aired on Setmax a million times. Literally everyone has seen the film. So what's the whole point of this remake? I would also like to point out the Malayalam film Ayappanam Koshiyam, which is going to be remade by Bollywood, starring actors like John Abraham and Abhishek Bachchan. But the point is, I believe this film is a very distinct one, shot very distinctly, written very distinctly, and executed perfectly. Stars actors like Prithviraj Sukumaran. I'm very skeptical about how this film is going to be remade and represented in a Hindi scenario, and this is something that we should actually look out for. These are some prominent projects, but it's not the end. Aamir Khan has recently announced the popular remake of the popular English film Forrest Gump called as Lal Singh Chaddha. And the list goes on. We have other films like Kathy, Hit, RX-100, Helen, and even foreign film The Intern on the cards. The thing is that when these films were made in their respective industries, they have been massive hits, and Bollywood tries to emulate just that. Also, there is a sense of security in the actors to be relevant in the masses, and apart from that, there is also a sense of security in the producers that they are sure that their money will return. Let me give you an example. Aamir Khan's previous project Thugs of Hindustan was a massive flop, both creatively and economically. Hence, Aamir Khan has resorted to a safer side where he is remaking a film that has been a super hit, that is Forrest Gump, into Hindi. Now I'm actually curious to know how he is going to represent the historical scenarios presented in Forrest Gump. The same situation applies to Shahid Kapoor, who is sticking to remakes to be relevant among the masses. Newcomers, especially star kids, debut with remakes, which is a very popular thing seen in the recent time. And there are actors like Varun Dhawan and Tiger Shroff who are solely relying on remakes for them to be relevant among the masses. And that is why we have good amount of remakes coming every year. The end point is Bollywood will continue to feed us with more and more remakes until we audience don't assert ourselves. We have to decide what we want and what we are spending money on. With the incoming of OTT, wide availability of films everywhere, subtitles, audios and everything, movies are easy to watch and easily accessible to watch. So let's encourage smaller and less commercial films. Give a chance to new actors, watch some other films apart from commercial successes, and spend our money wisely. Let's tell Bollywood that we are a smarter audience and we want something new and original to watch, because until we do, the cycle will continue and remake phase will never stop. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked our content, press the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell us in the comments what you feel, tell us about any new remakes that you're actually looking forward to, and we can discuss. Until next time, stay safe. Jai Hind. Irrespective of if we have original films or not, we have people who are selling pirated films, and you guys need to stay away from that.